right. Good evening, and thank you all for joining us tonight for a special Face It Live Q&A session presented by Fayette County Public Schools and the 16th District PTA. Of course, during this time, it is most important that families and communities engage together and support each other. The Face It platform allows us to virtually have real talks, build real relationships, and allow real ways for us to express what we are feeling, exert our energy in a positive way, and be solution driven in our approach to whatever we are facing in our communities. Tonight's topic, we're going to focus on what students are doing after high school. So once again, we have our CCR coaches here, Fayette County CCR coaches, and I'll just introduce them in order of the way they appear on my screen. All right. All right. First, we have Miss Pam Bates from Dunbar. Next, we have Miss Brandy Ashford from Bryan Station High School. And we have Miss Charlize Lewis from Tate's Creek. And then last but not least, we have Mr. Trey Sims from Lafayette High School. It's great to see everybody on here tonight. Would you all like to say hi to everybody?
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
How's it going?
All right. So what we're going to do tonight, we just want to talk about what we're going to do after high school. What are you going to do after high school? You have many options, lots of paths to go through, and we just want to make sure that you're aware of these things and that you're connecting with the right individuals to make sure you know exactly what you're going to do, when you're going to do right after high school. So graduation is approaching very quickly after we get back from spring break. The time's going to go by really, really fast. So it's time to get everything in order so you can have a great summer and then transition into the fall, into a college or career, whatever choice you make for yourself. So tonight we're just going to have a small discussion on some of these things specifically. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started. And first,
right.
I think go ahead, Miss Pam.
All right, thank you. So what are your plans? Are you going to college, 2-year, 4-year, trade school? So we have a little checklist for you. You should have at this point done your application, should be completed for college, scholarship applications for colleges, campus visit, housing if you're living on campus, FAFSA should be completed. Keys, do you know how much money you've earned? High school transcripts sent to the colleges. If you've taken dual credit, AP, IB credits, you need to get those sent to the colleges. You also need to do your scholarships like the private ones that's outside of what you normally would do with the college that you're going to be attending. We want to make sure that you're staying in touch with your admissions counselors. They're the ones that have all the information for you, what the status is for your application, if you're missing some documents, those type things. You also need to make sure you're keeping a check on your email. This will be updates from the colleges that you've applied to. If you have updates that you need from FAFSA, if they need verification, anything like that. Also, that will be where you'll get information about your scholarships.
I'm sorry, Pam, I skipped ahead. I apologize. Of course, you all need to make sure that you have completed the FAFSA. We have done numerous presentations on this, but just make sure that you all have done that. There is still time. Check with your CCR coach or your counselor to see if the school is hosting anything. I know at Bryan Station, we're hosting an event on April the 9th for FAFSA. So please make sure you all get that turned in. This is how you make sure you're eligible for most scholarships, financial aid from their colleges. Of course, make sure you all have, I'm sorry. Uh-oh.
That one was correct, the Kia one.
Yes.
I apologize. I was trying to move this out of the way. Okay, so make sure you are keeping up with the Kia resources. You can create your Kia account. You'll need your social security number to do that. You can access your KEYS money, the KTG grant, the CAP grant. Those are for private and public universities. You can get a personalized guide to your college journey. You can access the Work Ready scholarships and Affording Higher Education, that resource for scholarships. So make sure you all have are tuning in to their presentations they do on social media, and that you have registered for your Kia account so that you can track your own Kia, your keys money.
So for anyone who is an undocumented student, which means you also will not have a social security number, you can go to college too. So don't think that you can't go to college because you are undocumented. One of the things you need to do is whatever school you're deciding you're going to attend, you need to make sure you connect with your admissions counselor. Usually the Fayette County coaches, we're connected to specific admissions counselor by name at each school. So you can ask us and we can help you get in touch with that person. For example, at BCTC, we have resources, a lot of resources that we can connect you to there. They do take undocumented students, and there is a very specific scholarship pool that undocumented students can actually have connections to and get money for school. So I had a student who last year got several $1,000s from BCTC, but all the schools have someone who specializes in assisting students who are undocumented. And so there's two resources listed here, the College Guide for Undocumented and Scholarships for Undocumented Students. Be sure to go to those resources, and there are frequently asked questions on both of those sites, and there are very specific scholarships that are available.
Okay, what are your plans? The military. Once again, everyone knows, being serving in the military is a very honorable position. If you can travel, you can see the world, you can get school paid for. There's lots of opportunities in the military. So what are your steps for joining the military if you're out of high school? Okay, the first is contact a recruiter. Get in touch with a recruiter for each branch you're interested in. They'll answer any questions. I know we do have recruiters that come to the high schools. There are recruiting offices around the area, so it's just a matter of connecting with any branches that are around in your area. Second, you can report to MEPS. If you decide to enlist, you'll spend the day at a military entrance procession station. You'll take the ASVAB, have your physical exam, and meet with a career counselor. If you're accepted, you'll take the oath of enlistment right there. All right. And then after that, you'll just await orders for basic training. You'll receive orders for basic training within a few minutes. If you enrolled in the delayed entry program, you'll get orders within a year. So once again, if you can't find anyone to connect to, just talk to one of your CCR coaches, talk to one of your counselors, and we'll be able to connect you to any of these areas. All right, for students that are interested in taking a gap year. Now, what is a gap year? Gap year is a year-long break before college during which students engage in various educational and developmental activities. What are some of the pros and cons of being a gap student? Some of the pros gives you time to pursue other passions. If there's research projects you're interested in, if you're just interested in traveling or anything like that, that gives you an opportunity to do so. Gives you the opportunity to work and get money behind you. If finances are an issue for you, you can just take some time off, get some money, work, save, and just pursue college after that. The life experience can make you prepared for college. Sometimes you go out, you work, you sort of understand the value of a dollar. Sometimes you go out and you find out things that you really don't want to do. That can actually help your path in pursuing, what it is you ultimately want to do. So life experience is a great teacher. And sometimes you just want to get some years under your belt. Maybe you don't feel you're mature enough to go to college yet, or just handle the entire rigor, and that's okay. All right. And through that all, you're allowed to keep your keys money, and you're allowed to keep your keys money up to 5 years. Okay. So the cons, you risk wasting valuable time. Once again, that's something that's arguable. But once again, if you're really focused on going to school, and you don't feel you're ready, then, just make sure that you're taking that time to, think about, okay, what is the best trajectory here? And just what's the best trajectory? And, just find out what's best for you in your time. All right. You'll be a year behind. Once again, that can be a good or bad thing. But once again, it's all about the experience and being ready to go, because in the end, you don't want to waste any money at all. So if you're not ready, don't go. And it's a risk. You have to check if you're going to take a gap year. Some schools honor the scholarship still and some don't. All right. And then last, do not take any classes that will yield a college credit. Okay, so if you decide to become a GAP student and say after a month or so you get bored and you say, okay, you know what, I want to take a class just for a credit, just to see what college is like. At that point, if you take a class, you will be considered a transfer student. So the scholarships that we were talking about that you may have been rewarded before, if you deferred a year, now that you're considered a transfer student, that money could be wiped away. So make sure that you communicate with the college that you plan on attending a year later. But make sure that you don't take any type of classes that will yield a college credit during that time.
All right. So if you're looking for work, whether that's coming straight out of high school or looking for a job while you're in college, if that's your plan, there's a lot of great websites out there that you guys can utilize that are there to help you not just find careers and jobs, but also to upload a resume, make connections with people that may be in these positions, that may be CEOs or just higher ups within these positions that could look good really in the future for your career. There's again several websites you can utilize. Indeed is a very popular one that I see students use of all ages. Anybody from age 16 to age 55 is on Indeed. LinkedIn is another great one because it's just like Facebook, except for more professional and more catered to career specific information, graduate school information. You create a profile, you upload your resume, you put up your profile information, how people can contact you. It's a really good resource to use. Glassdoor is very similar to Indeed, and then ZipRecruiter is very similar to both Indeed and Glassdoor. So you have these different websites that you can use to apply for a job. I know some of you guys may think that, coming out of high school, the only job that you can possibly get is going into fast food, and that's not true at all. There are several jobs that you can go get straight out of high school, and you'll see that list right there that we have provided for you guys, and those average salaries nationally that you guys can see. So I know a very popular one right now that I see amongst millennials and the generation behind us is Doordash. That's a very popular one that I see kids taking part in. So that's between 15, 20 an hour. A firefighter makes up to 44, almost 45 a year. And then you can go down and look. I have several friends of mine that I know that they work at UPS as either package handlers or delivery drivers. And as you can see, delivery drivers make almost $90,000 a year. So there's a lot of careers that you guys can pick up and jobs that you can do after high school. If college is maybe not what your first choice is, you don't have to just settle for fast food or, being a waiter or waitress. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you're wanting to make a little bit higher salary, there are positions out here that you can get that will pay you 16 or more an hour straight out of high school. So, yeah.
So who can help me with my plan? So if you're trying to decide, if some of you are still undecided, some people that you can meet with is definitely with your college and career coach at your high school. We have the experience with you and the knowledge, or we can find the resources to help you out with that. Meet with your school counselor. They're very knowledgeable. They know you academically as well, talked with you on some personal levels. You may have shared some of your career goals with them as well. If you're planning on going to college, you need to make sure that you're meeting with the admissions counselors. Those are the people that will be reading your applications and be working with the admissions committee to decide if you're going to be getting in. If you're deciding on the military, you need to meet with the military representative like we talked about. These are the people that will help you in the branches that you're interested in on the next steps that you need to take. So there are plenty of people out there willing to help you along with your plan. So we hope that your life after graduation, that you've met with some of these people, or if you haven't, that you take the next 6 weeks that we have left of school, that you take advantage of meeting with them.
Okay, and please, please, please reach out to each of us CCR coaches at your all schools. You can see the list right here of where we are all located across Fayette County and which school that we work in. So for students that come from each individual school, please reach out to us if you guys have any questions about career exploration, getting ready for life after high school, or just any questions in particular about, scholarship resources, military, anything like that. We are more than happy to help. But the only way that we can help is if you come ask. So feel free to email us, schedule times to meet with us one-on-one, and definitely be on the lookout for events and anything like that that we put on with the school, whether that's on the school website or on the social media pages, anything like that. Please, please take part in those things.
All right, so this concludes our presentation. So what we're going to do, we have a few more minutes left. So what we're going to do here, I'm just going to ask some of my colleagues a few questions about some of the slides that they presented. And I know they're smart enough to answer on the spot, so we're not worried about it. But the first question I'm going to throw at Miss Ashford. You were talking about scholarships. You're talking about FAFSA. So what if I'm a student that, just say my parents make a lot of money and I know I'm not going to get anything out from FAFSA? Should I still fill it out?
Oh, yes, you should definitely still fill it out because they use that to determine what they're able to give you at the college as well. So, they'll use that information to say, you still have a need. And so they'll still, consider your FAFSA for those scholarships. So in addition to that, you do want to make sure you're doing the third-party scholarships. There are a ton of local scholarships right now that are rolling out. The Lions Club, the Rotary Club, the Lexington Women's Club, your banks. There's a ton of them coming out now. So, in addition to doing the FAFSA, just make sure that you're also looking at your school's scholarship website or meeting with your CCR coach or counselor to see what local scholarships are available, as well as career-based or college program scholarships. So if you're wanting to teach, things like that, check into those types of scholarships as well. That's something an easy Google search will yield you. So check into that.
All right, good. Great answer. Great answer. All right, my next question is for Ms. Lewis. You were talking to the international students. Now, what if I'm a student that my parents don't have a social security number and we're trying to fill out the FAFSA? How do we go about filling that out if I don't have a social security number or my parents?
So you're going to try to fill it out anyway. You're going to fill out. No, it doesn't matter. Every student has to fill out the FAFSA in some way or another. You have to do something. And what ends up happening a lot of times, even students who are undocumented, there are ways to find money. And there are ways to alert students to additional money. We have a lot of, Brandy just said, outside scholarships, and schools have very specific scholarships for undocumented students. For example, I talked about my student at BCTC. She didn't get any federal money, but there were so many little pockets of money and so many community organizations that were willing to give her additional money. And so I think she got around $15,000 to go to school. She didn't even need $15,000 to go to school. So you still have to make sure that you fill those out. And sometimes they have additional identifiers other than social security numbers. So you have to make sure that you use those things as well. Good.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Great answer. All right, Miss Bates. Let's see. What question do I have for you? What if it is the summertime, everything is shut down, and who do I contact? Where are my resources at this point? And I desperately need to find someone to talk to.
Right. So our web pages and our social media is always updated all the time, even if we are not in the office, which that's only a few weeks in the summer that that we're out. But our web pages have that. If you know of the schools that you're interested in applying to, you can always go to their website. And a little tip I always tell students, if you don't know exactly which subject area you're supposed to click on, the search engine is your friend. Always just type in what you think it's called, and usually you can navigate from there. So that's one of them. The military branches, you can call them as well. And like Trey was talking about with jobs, make sure your resumes, we all have those on our websites as well, little tips on like how to create your resume, keep that updated. Those help you with scholarships, applications for jobs or for schools. So you should always have an updated resume. One thing I did want to mention that I think it was Brandy that talked about the Keys money in your Kia account and needing your social security number. One of the things that we find sometimes is students don't have that in the district. And so if you're logging into Kia and you're not seeing any Keys money there, you just need to contact your registrar at your school to see what missing information you need to supply to them so that your Kia account can be created, because you guys have earned that money.
Good. So the registrar will have that information.
They can look in and see if they have some missing information, and they can give them a list of what may be missing from that. And the student can provide it, and it will be updated and then sent on to Kia, and then their Keys money will show up.
All right, good. That was a perfect segue, because my question for Mr. Sims was about how do I access my Keys? I know nothing about it. What are my first steps? What do I do?
So your first step is to go to kia.com. That is where you can actually go check. And in the top right corner of their website, they have a sign-in bar, essentially where you'll go either click sign in if you've already created an account before. More than likely, a lot of you guys may have done that freshman or sophomore year while you were in high school, or maybe you just made one this year. But if you haven't made one, it's very easy. You click the register button that's underneath that. You just put in your email address, social security number, which you guys need to have memorized, which is why that's so important. Have that memorized, put in that information, put in your address, your name, everything. And once that account's created, you'll then go into that account and click on Keys High School Info. Once you go to that page, you should see all of these different years that are from high school, from freshman year all the way up until the previous year that you guys were just in high school. So if you're a senior, you're not going to see Keys money for your senior year yet, because you guys haven't finished out senior year. A lot of you guys haven't. And then same thing for juniors, you're not going to see the end of junior year yet because you guys haven't finished junior year. So it's always the end of the year GPA that they put in there. But that's how you guys go look at that. And like Pam said, if you guys do not see Keys money for whatever reason, you need to make sure that your social security number is on file with the registrar office at your school.
Vince, there was a question in the chat box.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. We have one question. Let's see here. Okay, the question is, do students need to take the ACT or SAT to go to college after graduation?
We had yes, and with COVID and everything that kind of happened with that, a lot of the schools decided to go test optional and not make students take the ACT or SAT for being admitted. However, we all know that with those great scores come scholarship money. So we do not want to discourage students from taking the ACT. This is just a great time for them to, do some prep, and things like that, and try to get that score up so that they can at least get some scholarship money. So for some schools, it's not required to be admitted. However, you do lose out on scholarship money if you don't take it.
And I'll also add to the difference of an ACT score by 1 point. Like, I literally just had an ACT workshop this afternoon with ACT test prep, and they said that South Carolina, the University of South Carolina, if you bump your ACT score up 1 point from a 27 to a 28, that is a difference of $80,000 for the University of South Carolina. So That right there should show you the importance of taking that ACT and even retaking the ACT, because 1 point could make an $80,000 difference, or, you know, some type of scholarship difference based off of your score.
Yes, so check with your CCR coaches to see if your school offers any test prep, any type of opportunity for you to, you know, get that extra help in.
And again, that's another part when you want to really connect with the admissions counselor for the school that you're going to be applying to, because they're all different of like how long test optional is going to be for admissions part. I know UK has announced for the next 3 years, they're going to be test optional on the ACT, but the school that you may be deciding that you want to attend may not. They may actually next year, for our juniors that may be here or sophomores listening, tonight. So you all have that opportunity coming up in April, the state for the juniors, and for those sophomores that registered to take it, you're eligible, you know, to really take this seriously, like Trey said, to actually make it count for you money wise as well.
Right, great answer, CCR coaches. Thank you all very much. Does anybody have anything else before we wrap up and part ways?
We should get to ask you a question on one of your slides.
I'm the host. No, I'm just.
Well, I do have one more thing to say about the gap year. I have several students who are considering that gap year. And there was a sentence on there and said that something about wasting time. And so I wanted to address that wasting time thing. I told my students, take that year to get a job. If you're going to get a job, save money, because you don't know what bills you'll have to pay in the future. And you don't want to be in debt when you go to school. So get a job. If you don't want to get a job that's a paying job, you can at least get an internship in some area that you like, or a co-op experience, but make sure you get something that's going to build your resume.
Mhm.
You don't want to sit there and keep working on things, and then it comes a choice between you and somebody else, and that person has experience and you don't have experience. And then they say, okay, well, the one that has this experience gets this pool of money. So you want to make sure that you always do the extra thing, and don't waste the year. Do something very productive. Do something that's going to yield some results later.
Have a good solid plan. So
Yeah.
if you don't have a good solid plan, more than likely you will take your gap year will turn into gap years instead of just a year and then going back. So we want to make sure that you have a good solid plan on when would I apply. All this that we've talked to you about, deadlines, if you're not doing it this year to attend, that still comes back around next year. Like FAFSA opens up October 1st, you'll need to reapply. You'll need to reapply to colleges if you decide not to go.
That's right. All right, everyone, we are at our time limit. So thank you all for your answers. And I promise, Pam, I'll answer something next time.
Okay.
These are the CCR coaches. Please get in contact with us if you need us. Thank you all for coming tonight. We're on spring break next week. So we will return. Face It will return on Thursday, April 8th. All right. So everyone have a good night. Have a safe spring break, and we will see you all soon. Thank you.